Game this morning as I start out, just because we're enjoying video so much. Well, that's my theory. So we're going to see a few pictures, and what I want you to do is see if you can guess the year. The clue is all of these pictures relate to the same year. So let's see how we do. First slide. This gentleman was Prime Minister of Canada. I know that doesn't narrow down the year, but lets you know the era. Next slide. This gentleman was impeached as President of the U.S. Nobody's got it yet. Next one. Matthew Shepard was beaten and left to die in Wyoming. Next. The second Harry Potter book came along. I expect everybody to remember that. No? Okay. 82? Nope.
95.
You're getting warmer. 97, getting warmer still. Let's try the next slide, see how we do. Okay, somebody's getting cooler again. The dollar, the loonie, was worth 64 American cents, lowest it's ever been. Nobody wants to remember that, I understand.
1996.
Close. Next one. Gas in Kelowna was 52 cents a liter. 98? Bingo. Good guess. We have a couple more to see. There were Olympics that year, because remember, Winter Olympics are in opposite numbered years, so this was 98. Tammy Wynette died, for those who are country music fans. And this was the final clue. This was the giveaway. If you didn't get it with this one, okay, but you got it halfway through. I'm impressed. 1998. The significance of 1998 is that's 18 years ago. 18 years. That's a long, long time. Gas is not 52 cents a liter anymore, and it ain't gonna be, even though it's supposedly low. A lot of things happen in 18 years. Try and remember, if you can, for just a moment, where you were in 1998, what might have been going on, or what has happened in your life since then. I had only one grandchild in 1998. Now I have 7. 18 years is a long, long, long time. It's a long time to be bent over. This incredible story from Luke, which is, I say this about like every second scripture that it's one of my favorites, but I love this story. Such a powerful story. This woman has been bent over for 18 years. We don't exactly know why. The Greek literally says she's bent over with a spirit of weakness, which suggests that it's not actually a physical ailment. Suggests that it's a psychological ailment, or perhaps that she just felt worthless, that she never dared look up. It doesn't really matter what the ailment is. The reality that we're presented with is that for 18 years, for an entire generation, this woman has been bent over. Jesus notices her. Jesus calls her over and sets her free from whatever it is that has her bent over. And everyone should be clapping and cheering. This is amazing. This woman has had her life restored to her after 18 years. And the people's response is, "How dare you?" And I can imagine the venom with which the synagogue leaders made their accusation. I can hear them saying something along the lines of, "For heaven's sakes, lady, it's been 18 years. You could have waited one more day." And I hear Jesus saying to her, "For heaven's sake, you've been bent over for 18 years. Let's fix that right now. Let's not wait another minute." Such a difference in perspective, isn't it? On the one hand, oh, come on, you can wait longer. And on the other hand, you shouldn't have to wait another second. There's a really important call to us, I think, in this story. There are two important calls. And the first one is that issue of perspective. How do we really see situations that come before us? I don't know about you, but for me, sometimes it is a lot easier to say, oh, good heavens, can't you wait? Come on. You know, there are lots of things, and I'm busy, and I have things I want to do, and you know, I don't have time for all this. And then often I hear Jesus saying, why wait another minute? Why make someone wait? It's a difficult tension. But the perspective I think that we're called to have is as much as is humanly possible, and we are only human, but as much as is humanly possible, the call is to try and alleviate people's pain and hurt and suffering without making them wait another moment. I thought of an example just this last week. It would have been so easy for us as a church to say to our Tuesday and Thursday coffee hour folks who come in every week for some food and a cup of coffee and a chance to visit and sometimes to receive some assistance and just to hang out. And it would have been easy to say to them, okay, folks, sorry, we're having Vacation Bible Adventure, so you guys can't come this week. Most people would have understood that. Or conversely, we could have said to all the children in our church, hey kids, we're really glad you're here, but by the way, Vacation Bible Adventure is only going to be Monday, Wednesday, Friday this week because we've got something else going on Tuesday and Thursday. Most people would have understood that one too. But the leap to take as Christians is to realize that Jesus might be saying to us, find a way to work it out. Find a way to do both of those things so that no one's feeling pushed aside, so that no one's feeling like they're being told to bend over and sit down and shut up, but rather that we're making sure the kids are out of the hall and in here and not in the way of the folks that are coming in for coffee, and that they're gone when we come back through to do our singing, and somehow it works wonderfully to have both of those ministries going on. And that's just one example, but it's so important not to take the easy way out, but to look for ways that we can make things work. Perspective. So easy to write it off, so easy to write people off. Jesus is calling us to go a little bit further, not to see someone as a bother, but to see them as a wonderful opportunity to share God's love. There's something else going on in this story, though, and I was reminded of it, a story on CBC about some furor going on in Alberta and elsewhere across the country, but relating to an event in Alberta of an Aboriginal man who was recently killed. And the debate, should this be seen as a hate crime? And as I was reading about that and reflecting on this story, I thought, this story is about a hate crime. It's not a terrifically violent one. The hate crime here involves some leaders saying to this woman, why didn't you wait another day? Why don't you come back tomorrow? And after 18 years, increasing her suffering by one more day, in the grand scale of things, is not humongous. But the issue isn't about the amount. The issue is about the attitude that they have. The attitude of saying to someone who is in need, you don't matter. You're not quite as important as everybody else. You have to go to the back of the bus. You have to go to the back of the queue. You need to realize that you aren't as good as everyone else. And Jesus challenges that. Jesus challenges that by calling her forward, by giving her new life, and by giving her a name and saying, this woman is a daughter of Abraham. This woman is, in giving her that title, is the same as all of you, is what Jesus is really saying in that statement. She's not an also-ran. She's not the person who came fourth or fifth in the Olympics, the ones that we can forget about because they're not on the podium. She's not a nobody. She is somebody. And as somebody, she has all the worth that everyone else has as well. I'm going to go out on a limb and assume that none of us are going to go out and murder people. I think that's a fairly safe assumption. And yet I'm not going to, I'm not planning on it anyway. But I'm aware of the fact that I can sometimes be guilty of hate crimes. Because there are times that I want to look at people and go, yeah, okay, this one's more important than that one, and that person doesn't really matter. And when I do that, I have to catch myself. And this story so blatantly and wonderfully reminds me of that and says to me, everyone is a child of Abraham, to use Jesus' words. Everyone is a child of God. Everyone is just as worthy as everyone else. It is not always easy to live that way. It isn't. Nobody said being a Christian would be easy. Nobody said trying to change our way of living to align it with God's will would be easy. But it's right. And at the end of the day, it feels good. At the end of the day, we, like the people in the synagogue who recognized what Jesus was doing, are able to cheer and celebrate when anyone receives new life. Thanks be to God.